I worked late every night with my female secretary, and because I hadn't been sleeping with my wife, she reported me for taking a 2 million bribe. The disciplinary team investigated me for 3 months and couldn't find a single penny out of line. After I was cleared, my bosses shook my hand and apologized. I didn't say a word. I just turned around and went home. Looking at my daughter's chubby little face, I suddenly thought about how cold my wife had been these past few years, and that cousin of hers who was always stopping by. The next day, I took my daughter to the hospital. When the test results came out, my hands were shaking. Team leader Wang from the disciplinary unit grabbed my hand. His hand was rough but warm. "Chief Zhao, you've been wronged." I looked at him and said nothing. There was an official document on the desk. Investigation conclusion on the false report that Zhao Yi took a 2 million bribe. For 92 days, I stayed in a room smaller than 100 square feet. Meals were brought to me, and twice a day, someone came in to question me. They asked me where every deposit came from, and where every expense went. I said it over and over again. I didn't take it. They didn't believe me, or maybe they kinda did. Today, it was finally over. Leader Wang personally walked me out of the building. "I already spoke with Director Zhang at your office. He said he'll hold a small meeting and clear your name." I nodded. "Go home and get some rest. Your wife hasn't had it easy either." I stopped and looked at him. There was a hint of awkwardness on his face. "Yeah, my wife Zhou Rui did the righteous thing and turned me in. She said there was a 2 million bank certificate hidden in the false bottom of my nightstand. The investigators went there, pried it open, and found nothing. It was empty. Zhou Rui said she saw it with her own eyes. I didn't do it." Now my name was cleared. Leader Wang patted me on the shoulder and left. I stood there in the sunlight, almost dizzy from the glare, when my phone started buzzing in my pocket. It was Director Zhang. "Where are you at? We're throwing you a welcome back dinner tonight." "No thanks, I just want to go home." There was a short silence on the other end. "Fair enough, I'm sure your wife's been waiting for you too." "Don't worry, I'll take care of things at work for you." I hung up and headed home. I'd worked at that office for 15 years without a single mistake, but because of this, I became everybody's gossip. And the home I'd lived in for 12 years suddenly didn't feel like home anymore. I gave the cab driver my address. As the car moved, the shadows of the trees slid past the window, and my mind went blank. When we finally stopped downstairs, I paid, got out, walked into the building, and put my key in the lock. The door opened and I heard a voice inside. "Mommy, higher, higher!" I changed my shoes and walked in. Zhou Rui was holding up a toy airplane, playing with our daughter, Anan. Anan sat on the couch kicking her little legs and giggling. When she saw me, she froze. "Daddy?" Her voice was soft and timid. After 3 months, she'd grown distant from me. "You're back." I looked at Zhou Rui. She'd lost some weight, like she'd gone through some huge injustice herself. I grunted and sat down by the couch. Anan peeked out from behind her, sneaking glances at me. Her little face was still so round and cute. She was adorable. I used to love pinching her cheeks. But now looking at that face, all I felt was cold. "Here, have some water." She held a cup out to me. "When did you find out I was coming back?" "This morning. Leader Wang called me." The living room was quiet. The TV was on with no sound. There was a fruit plate on the table, and the grapes looked fresh. Then I suddenly remembered something. The day I was taken away was a Wednesday. That afternoon, cousin Sun Peng said he was coming over for dinner. He was my college senior, and later we ended up working in the same system. Our parents were close too, so Zhou Rui called him cousin. He'd never gotten married and was always mooching meals at our place. After I was taken away, did Sun Peng come by? Zhou Rui's body stiffened for a second. It was slight, but I saw it. "No. After what happened to you, how could he even show his face here?" Her eyes darted away. I didn't say anything. I picked up the remote, turned off the TV, and stood up. "I'm tired. I'm gonna lie down for a bit." I walked toward the bedroom. "Dinner's ready. You want a bite?" "No." I pushed open the bedroom door. The bed was neatly made, just like it had been before I left. The professional books I'd kept on the nightstand had been replaced with fashion magazines. I pulled open the drawer. My watch was inside, and the hidden compartment in my wallet had already been pried open. It left behind an ugly crack. I reached in and felt around. Empty. Zhou Rui stood in the doorway, completely at a loss. "Zhao Yi, listen to me. I was out of my mind that day." I turned and looked at her. She was crying, tears dropping one by one. I was under too much pressure. I was scared someone would call me. They said you'd taken money, that it was only a matter of time before everything blew up, and that if I reported it first, it might count as cooperation. The lies she made up didn't match any of the 100 possibilities I'd imagined while being investigated. Her excuses were ridiculous. I watched her cry and felt nothing. We'd been married for 15 years. I thought I knew her. Now I realized I didn't know her at all. I looked at her, then past her at Anan peeking out from the living room. Anan was 5 now, and she looked like Zhou Rui, especially her eyes. People always used to say Anan was the perfect mix of the two of us with her dad's eyes. I looked at Anan's nose, small, neat, slightly upturned. Did it look anything like mine? A crazy thought slipped into my head, and once it was there, I couldn't push it back down. It was like acid, burning away the last bit of warmth left in me. "Stop crying." My voice was calm. She just stared at me. "Tomorrow we're taking Anan to the hospital." "The hospital? Is Anan sick?" She sounded nervous. I looked straight into her eyes. "No, just getting something checked." The next morning I woke up at 6. Zhou Rui was still asleep beside me, her brows slightly furrowed like she wasn't sleeping well. I watched her for a moment, then got up and washed up. The man in the mirror looked thinner, worn out, almost unfamiliar. I shaved and changed clothes. At 7, I knocked on Anan's door. "Anan, time to get up." No answer, so I pushed the door open. Anan was sleeping under a Winnie the Pooh blanket, with only the top of her head showing. I woke her up. She rubbed her eyes, saw it was me, and looked a little scared. "Daddy?" "Get up, Daddy's taking you out." "Where are we going?" "Somewhere they're gonna draw blood." Anan's face instantly went pale. "I don't want a blood test. It hurts." She started rolling around on the bed and throwing a fit. Zhou Rui woke up and rushed into the room. Xiao Yi, what are you doing? Why are you acting crazy this early in the morning? She pulled Annan into her arms and glared at me. Annan's scared of needles, don't you know that? What kind of test has to be done today? I looked at the way she protected the child. Like an angry mother hen. Today, no matter what. The two of us stood there facing off, while Annan looked back and forth between us. Then she burst into tears. I don't want to go to the hospital, I don't want a blood test. Zhou Rui held her, trying to comfort her while shooting daggers at me. What exactly are you testing for? A routine checkup. I've been gone this long, I can't check on my own daughter's health. That excuse was airtight. Zhou Rui bit her lip and couldn't say a word. I walked over and pulled Annan out of her arms. Annan cried even harder. Either I take her or all three of us go together. Your choice. She stared at me hard. A few seconds later, she gave in. I'll go change. On the way to the hospital, the car felt heavy with tension. I was driving while Zhou Rui and Annan sat in the back. Annan was still sniffling. Zhou Rui spent the whole ride comforting her, telling her stories and promising she'd buy her the biggest ice cream after the test. I looked at them in the rearview mirror. It was such a warm picture. A good mother and a sweet little daughter. If that thought hadn't come to me yesterday, I probably would have softened.